Hi everybody, this is a red and black Arcane Bombardment deck for the Alchemy format that really leans on display of power. I got a taste of that power in our last video, and I thought, you know what this needs? Much more Invoke Despair. So we crammed some in here with some Sheoldred and some other black cards from the Alchemy format, and some classic red staples that I like to play in Arcane Bombardment. We're also not being complete fools, and we're playing the One Ring, along with Cast into the Fire as our safety valve in case things go really wrong. And then we've got some fun stuff like Stroke of Luck and Soul Servitude in case we do want to play that creature game every once in a while. And that all goes along with 2 copies of Burn Down the House and 2 copies of Brotherhood's End as kind of our sweepers. Now, I don't know about your experience on the ranked alchemy ladder, but it feels like everybody is playing Orcish Bowmasters. Kind of a problem when your deck wants to draw lots of cards with big score and Invoke Despair. Well, we managed to win a fair number of games anyway, but I can see taking this deck in a different direction, maybe with some blue, where we get some effects to put cards into our hand and not really draw them so much, because a lot of opponents are really waiting to get you with the Orcish Bowmasters there. So it could probably use a little bit of tuning, but I think we got a solid start for a red-black bombardment deck in Alchemy. Let's go see some games with this deck over on the ranked Alchemy ladder. I'll be with you for commentary, of course, but as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. All right. Where are my cards? There we go. Okay. Coming back in at Alchemy, doing a little Arcane Bombardment. Couldn't get enough of Display of Power the first time. Got a Stroke of Luck in here. I really wish that card was an instant. We're going to go Xander's Lounge, pass it on back. All right, opponent's got 2 mana. Let's see if the chain of... Yep, Orcish Bowmasters. Popular card. Opponent's going to dig us for 1. Amass a little bit of orcs there. All right. Well, we do have some board wipes in this deck, but we're going to go ahead and lightning strike that orc. Or should I say orcs plural. Might have to use this Stroke of Luck to keep drawing into maybe a big score or some lands. Got to go for the throat as backup. Grima Wormtongue, huh? We can't gain life, and they can amass orcs on command. Ah, that's a good draw. Now we can see if they're going to let me play banned standard cards with Display of Power, I got to take the chance. March from the Black Gate. Well, opponent is all about amassing those orcs. Grima gonna do something? No. Double attacks. Alright, orc gets a little bit bigger. Now let's use this go for the throat on Grima. Trying to keep the amount of creatures kind of manageable. If everything goes according to plan, and it doesn't, let's Stroke of Luck here for a land that we can keep up, go for the throat. Oh, yep, there it is. All right. So if we can keep them to 1 creature on board, that lets Invoke Despair clean up the last one. And all they played last turn was Grima, which isn't that powerful. Of course, Nazgul. All right. Tempted by the ring. Can't be blocked by a creature with greater power. Okay. Sending in the orc. Let's let them amass first. And then we will go for the throat it. All right, come on, land. Yes. Excellent. Let's go with Invoke Despair. Should draw us into our final land so we can start bombarding and displaying power. Beautiful. Oh, and we got rid of that enchantment too. So only 1 card, but it was the land we need. Opponent, of course, has the backup Bowmasters. Drew into that. Brings us to 13. Amasses a small orc army. And looks like they've got something holding priority. Can't quite figure out what that is. We're just going to go straight into land number 6 for bombardment. Well, even if they're playing Invoke Despair, they're a couple mana off. And we've seen so many orc cards already, I kind of doubt they even have it in there. And I mean, I think we can tell that at least 9 of these cards are Nazgul, so... Gonna need a board wipe soon. What we may end up having to do... Ooh, a land is the draw. We're gonna have to display for nothing. Yep, we'll submit 0, see what we can pull up. But at least it... Oh, Invoke Despair, perfect. At least we get this display into the grave. I'm actually going to hold on. There's Sheoldred and a land. I'm going to hold on to this other display. It's our only spell, and we're going to use that to activate again on our opponent's turn. Triggers the Bowmasters a few times, though. Come on, opponent. Only one place you can put that damage, and it's staring you right in the face. All right, back to our opponent here. The dream is to copy Invoke Despair many, many times. See if we can make that happen here. It's a small percentage, but it exists. More orcs being amassed by a 3/3. All right, now's the time, I think. Let's display on nothing again. Okay, well, it's not display, but it's a good pickup. Let's do Invoke Despair first, and then finally on the stack, go for the Throat. Definitely want Bowmasters gone, and then this takes almost the same amount of power off the board. Gives us a draw of a couple. All right, we got 2 displays down there now. I think it is going to be our time. Let's get Sheoldred. Yeah, let's get Sheoldred down. And then I think we're going to pass. Want to be able to deal with whatever creatures they put down, since we're currently lacking a board wipe and we're kind of picking them off one at a time. All right, definitely in response to this, go for the Throat on our Sheoldred. We're going to activate Bombardment with Play with Fire. Double go for the Throat under there. Let's do Invoke Despair. We'll hit go for the Throat on the creature first, so that Despair draws us an extra card, deals a little more damage. Orcish Medicine? Alright, so it's going to get indestructible, and that's going to give them a creature to sacrifice to the Despair. So the amassed orcs go away. We get our card draw in. That gives us a little bit of life. Brings us to 13. Play with Fire takes them to 4. And yep, this will have to resolve. Goodbye, Sheoldred. You were a nice 4 mana life gain spell while we knew you. Alright, this lets us take an opponent's hit for 3 here. I'm going to cycle away one of these lands. Trying to dig for a spell. There's the big score on top and another Despair. Well, let's get the land down and, yeah, go for Despair. And if we're going to do one, let's do a few. Despair again. Go for the Throat. Your only creature is the top spell in the stack. And might as well throw on a Display of Power as well. Just to copy everything one more time. We'll do the same stack again on top of that. Creature down first. Spells are copied. Fantastic. Yep, no targets for that. And how many Invoke Despairs is that? 1, 2. I think we got up to 4. Good game. All right, we're going to keep this. We got a Brotherhood's End. We just need a little bit more red mana. Been tucking some smaller sweepers into these decks as we foray into the alchemy format because Orcish Bowmasters is everywhere, though we may finally have an opponent here who is not doing that. Impassioned Orator. All right. So we can expect some Soul Sisters-y, life-gainy stuff for sure. All right. Removing that creature lets us Stroke of Luck here. Big score, the perfect turn 4 play, and we get to take both of them because of the Stroke of Luck ability. Costs us a little bit of life, but we get more cards. It's like a slow impulse with a minor upside if you're playing with a lot of multiples in your deck. Opponent with a Wedding Announcement. Up to 4 lands already. Alright, seen a couple of pretty generic white cards here for the kind of standard alchemy card pool. This Rider able to get rid of enchantments, so we're going to have to get rid of that before that gets out of hand. But I think just attacking with 1 here. Let's go big score at the end of turn. We'll discard Display of Power just to get that in the yard. We pick up another board wipe, another display. All right, well, let's wipe this before it can get too big for our Burn Down the House. Play a Proving Ground, because we're not really going to do much else, and pass it on back. Opponent has a few cards left still, so if they dump out their hand this turn, we can clean that up with a Burn Down, and then maybe copy a big score in the future. Start digging for our win conditions. Land off the top. Let's get that played. Opponent didn't do anything, so I think we can do the copy big score plan here. Oh. Ascend from Avernus, so they're going to get pretty much everything back that we already took away. Yeah, not much I can do about that. Voice of the Blessed, let's see how big that gets here. Can they gain any more life? No, just attacks with the 2/2, so these all fit under Burn Down. Let's go big score, discard this extra land. We will definitely copy the big score with Display of Power. 4 cards, 4 treasures. There's a Bombardment and a You Find Some Prisoners. Well, let's wipe this board first. We don't have enough mana to really do both of these, I don't think. Comfortably. Oh, maybe I did. Anyway, it always worries me when you get a Voice of the Blessed on the board, because the removal I play can be quickly outpaced by cards like that. Barrowblade, Luminarch Veteran here. Blade goes onto the Veteran. We got a 3/3. All right, well, now I think we got plenty of mana. Let's go Bombardment. Let's go You Find Some Prisoners, just in case we find a spell from our opponent, and we don't have to cast Display of Power for nothing. Oh, free Brotherhood's End. Let's do that on damage. They can keep the artifact around. If they want to waste some mana putting it back on there, that's fine. Ooh. I have not seen this card before, but it looks good. It's got an adventure side, which I believe we can use to activate Bombardment. Now, Eldraine was not around when Bombardment was released, as far as I can remember. And those adventure sides do count as spells while they're on the stack. So that should trigger our Bombardment. Right? Yeah. Well, let's just save some of these treasures here. I want to do a big horn. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just doing some quick maths. Okay, so I think if we do horn here for 7, that will activate Bombardment. But Yeah, I kind of just want to double up the horn. Yeah, I suppose we could have waited to see what Bombardment got, but not too much else down there, so anyway. Slight misplay, but White Sun's Twilight. Okay, so we got kind of a token theme going on over here. Not enough to wipe the board, so we're going to let that go. Opponent may not remember what the Brotherhood's End can do on its secondary mode, which doesn't get a lot of use. We're going to do Brotherhood's End here. Destroy all artifacts, 3 or less. And we're going to display of power this lightning strike that we picked up. And that should help the cause a little bit. Alright, so equipment down. All the mites are artifacts as well. That clears the way for our 14 ill-gotten creatures. Ooh, I wish I could cast this horn. Probably should have left me a treasure. I think that would have finished it off right there. Well, we attack for 14. Nothing to sneeze at. Let's see what our opponents got, and they scoop it up. All right, nothing like tooting your opponent's horn. All right. This looks okay. There's no card draw aside from the cycling lands, so I'm a little wary of this one, but there are a lot of folks playing Bowmasters and a lot of folks playing the One Ring, so it's good to have some early answers for that. This appears to be pretty much just mono-white soldiers, though. So we may have to go looking for a Brotherhood's End here pretty soon, or we're gonna fall to this go wide, put all of your cards out onto the board strategy. There is some blue in there. Okay. Gavany Dawnguard. That's some good card advantage. Able to peek at the top of the deck. Opponent goes to attacks. Puts the bonus on the Lord. Let's just destroy the frontliner. Drop down to 15. And I think we're going to hit the Dawnguard while we can pay the ward cost. And before they can get any kind of card advantage off of that. Since right now we're still going 1 for 1 answering their creatures. Alright, the Flying Soldier is here. We draw Display. Alright, let's pass here. If we can make it, we can survive and at least be comfortable until 5 mana. We can copy one of these spells. Let's strike the Harbin. Opponent gets in. Let's hit the Lord too. Why not? If all they've got is this announcement, we can try to draw with the Lounge, and there's Bombardment. So I think that means we play Lounge now. Oh, this might be close. We play Lounge now. We're going to have enough for Bombardment next turn. They've got another announcement. Okay, but if that's all their creatures, that takes a couple more turns to get going. So this might be just in time. Land the draw. Bombardment the play. We know we're at least dropping to 9 here. I don't think any of their lords pump up the wedding announcement tokens. Sky Strike Officer here. And they draw because they attacked with 3. Oh, wow. Brotherhood's End off the top. Okay, so cast into the fire. We could use that. Let's go Brotherhood's End. Just see what we can pick up. Still a lot of 1 for 1 removal down there. And we can hit the officer for 1, and that will make everybody fall under the range of Brotherhood's End. Alright, and let's just pass. Another one of those situations where we got Display of Power and nothing to copy it with yet. Okay, well, there's Mire. Just let that one happen. Let's go land. So that's going to prevent us from doing anything on our opponent's turn. So that one a priority to remove now. Great, there's the go for the throat for it. Cast into the fire. Nothing we can target with that, I don't think. Alright, so that should take care of Mire. And do we need to display this? Let's do it. Why not? We can take out the other token at the same time and grab a couple more cards off the top. See if there's anything we can cast. Alright, into the trenches. It's okay. Could be some removal if we can get some treasures online, I think. I think it has an exile clause in it. Resolute reinforcements. Alright. Yeah, in hindsight, probably not a whole lot of spells in that deck. Might run, what? A pair of spell pierces or something like that. Alright, let's flash in these reinforcements. We're going to pretend to be a soldier deck for a hot second. Protect the negotiators. Now we see the counterspell. Well, speaking of luck, we draw a stroke of luck. We can activate Bombardment here. We're going to use Go for the Throat on the non-artifact creature, yes. Cast into the fire. We're going to exile the frontliner. And then we're going to Display of Power on Stroke of Luck. I was just checking. I didn't think there was anything worth copying, but no, we got a stroke to start us off. Ooh, yeah, let's take double Lightning Strike off the top. Brings us to 7, but I think we have a decent control of the board here. And then the initial stroke. Let's take Play with Fire. This feels like we might be burning our opponent to a crisp. And we'll just pass it on back. Activate Old Bombardment here on their turn. I mean, they've still got 4 cards in hand, so not really sure what they're hiding out. Let's do a Lightning Strike to the face. Let's go for the throat on the creature. Display of Power finally to copy the Lightning Strike. And nothing else relevant right now. So we get a free Lightning Strike, free Go for the Throat out of that deal. Not bad. Invoke Despair off the top. Yes. Let's do it. Invoke. And I think just display is probably all we need there. We're going to target that. Nothing else. And burn you for 12. Okay, not 12. It's going to be 8. But we do get rid of the announcements. Draw a couple of cards. It's a shame we drew Sheoldred too late. Yeah, let's pass it on back. Can't quite burn them out with what we've got in hand, so we need to activate one more time. There's a Redeemer. Sure, no problem. Do a Lightning Strike to the face. We will do, yeah, there's plenty under there. Good game. All right. Gonna keep this. Finally got a copy of the One Ring in hand. Opponent's been having a field day with the One Ring and Orcish Bowmasters. I figure that we could at least get in on a little bit of the action. Opponent's got Barad-dûr and some Nazgul here. Very on theme. That's fine. Let's go Brotherhood's End here. Kind of want to save the Servitude for a better creature to copy. Opponent with a Sheoldred. We're going to draw and take 2. We're going to play this Lounge because I think we are going to Soul Servitude. And actually, first time I've cast this spell, let's see. We need to discard, right? So let's discard Display. And we get a conjured copy of the sacrificed creature. Nice. So Sheoldred and the One Ring feels like they might play well together. Opponent with a Sauron the Necromancer, huh? Create a tapped and attacking token. Interesting. Well, how about no? Sounds like trouble to me. Please sacrifice that. We're going to draw a few more. Draw a couple of lands. So it looks like we're just going to slowly work our way up to Bombardment here. We're at 16. Let's see what they do to figure out if we need to go Sheoldred first. They're going to burn us out with Invoke Despair. Well, when we plop Bombardment down, they might wish they held on to that, but as it usually goes with Despair, they usually draw into the second one, so let's make them have it. Shambling Ghast, their only follow-up after that, so hopefully not too much fast damage this turn. So that even if they remove this Bombardment, we'll have the One Ring and Sheoldred to mount a comeback. Alright, so they get to loot. The Ghast is the bearer of the ring. Drops us to 9. Another Nazgul comes down. This is beginning to get out of hand fast. Big score the draw. We've got a couple of good things down there. Servitude, Invoke Despair. Could pick up a display. All right, let's go Brotherhood's End then on 3 damage. And let's resolve Bombardment first. Oh, and we get a second Brotherhood's End. Great. I was going to say, if we don't pick up Display, we can always play Display from our hand and double up the Brotherhood's End and totally wipe the board. But we got the Brotherhood's End anyway. And let's play Takenuma. Could potentially use that to get a Sheoldred back if we play out this Conjured one and they remove it. Witch King of Angmar. I mean, it's very on flavor, I will give it that. Alright, let's go end of turn, big score. We're going to discard Display, I think. We'll probably draw into another spell. So they can protect it by discarding a card, so we're just going to have to keep hitting it as much as possible. And we're going to copy our big score with the Display. So we should see a discard here. Oh, and that taps it too. Great. So we can actually use that on their turn to kind of prevent the damage in a roundabout way. Okay, big score, giving us some treasure and some more spells. Another spell off the top, and you find some prisoners. Well, let's see. Does it make sense to get Sheoldred down? We should have enough to do some other things. And if we're going to be drawing cards, she will help us recover a little bit. Okay, Sheoldred is there. We can play the One Ring. And we should still be able to play a spell this turn. We've got plenty of cheap stuff. All right. Opponent looking at something. Yeah, they had it. Go for the throat. Well, in response, we should be able to draw with the One Ring. And then, yeah, we haven't cast any spells this turn. Let's do Play with Fire on the face. That triggers Bombardment. We can go Brotherhood's End on damage. They're out of cards to discard, so that should take care of the Witch King. Right, I think that should be okay. Trying to get a handle on what's in the stack. We have one Play with Fire that we can copy that's actually going to be relevant in this situation. I don't think we need to go for the throat anything. But yeah, you don't actually get the spells on the stack laid out in front of you until you decide to display a power, so I was just checking to make sure we had something to do in there. So Play with Fire gets copied a few times. Scry away both of these lands. The original Play with Fire happens. We see Invoke Despair on the top. Alright, well, Sheoldred is down. One Ring has already drawn us the card, so we are just protection from everything for a little bit. And we actually have one more activation we can do before we draw this Despair, so let's take a peek at their library. See what goodies you've got for me. We're going to do Display of Power on You Find Some Prisoners, and Display of Power on You Find Some Prisoners. No creatures on board, so no reason for the other things. We will target you. I mean, this is making me think you could almost build a mono-red mill deck with these two cards. This is wild. Alright, we will take the spell. You Find Some Prisoners the third time. Sure, we'll take a Nazgul. One ring goes off. We're going to lose one to that. There's the Invoke Despair. So, here's how this is going to work. We're going to do Invoke Despair. Bombardment trigger is going to happen. Pick up Play with Fire from the grave, so we'll put that on the stack. Then we'll hit Display of Power, and we'll copy both Play with Fire and Invoke Despair. Do that again. That should be enough. Good game. All right. Looking pretty decent here. We've got the One Ring, we've got an early board wipe, and then we can follow all of that up with an Invoke Despair. Just got to keep drawing those lands. Opponent with a Forsaken Crossroads on black. They scry to the top. Well, still not enough info to figure out what that all means just yet. We'll see if they are doing the, oh, white. Okay. All right, well, I don't know what this is anymore. Sanctum, firmly in the black and white camp. We're going to go right into the One Ring, see if we can get a response out of our opponent. Oh. All right, well, to be fair, I haven't seen black and white Bowmasters yet. Usually black and red, just black. We're going to wait to draw with the One Ring until after they attack. Golem, huh? Okay, interesting. Sacrifice something else to bring Golem back to the hand. All right. Oh, missed the draw there. That's okay. This keeps everybody solidly under Brotherhood's end. Oh, the ring tempts you, I guess, when Golem dies. Fair. And now we can Lightning Strike something and start filling up our hand with the One Ring. I do have a couple of cards in here as kind of a safety valve versus the ring. Ooh, can't stay away. Let's draw then before the Bowmasters come back home. One damage. Orcs Amassed. And a Nazgul. Sure, I think we can let that go. Gets a counter. Let's do Lightning Strike on the Bowmasters. Between Despair and the ring, we know we want to draw. Nice. All right, now let's go Invoke Despair. So they're probably going to keep the... Yep, keep the Wraith. We draw a couple of things here. Might as well draw a little bit more. Okay, we already played our land, so we can't get enough mana for Go for the Throat this turn. But the ring should keep us in plenty of action until we can draw Cast into the Fire. Very interesting flavor scenario. We actually have the ring, but the person holding it is on the other side of the table. Interesting. I guess thematically, like, we control it, but they're physically holding it? I don't know. All right, let's draw. There's a Bombardment. Only... Must have played our land already. Okay. So we can't bombard and do a spell. So I think what we're just going to do is pass. We're going to discard some lands. I kind of want to keep this swamp. Let's just discard the tap lands. All right, great. Opponents go into attacks. We're going to loot with the ring. And let's go for the throat on the big ring bearer. And we'll copy that with Display of Power to get another display in the yard. So I'm kind of thinking we can hold this final go for the throat as the thing that's going to activate Bombardment the first time and kind of start the chain going a little bit. All right. So I think Bowmaster's got exiled. Can't stay away, can only bring back the Nazgul now. Another 2/3. Opponent is fully tempted by the ring. That means that Nazgul is going to start hitting hard. So let's go Arcane Bombardment. Pass it on over, just so that we can get the maximum effectiveness against our opponent's heavily creature-based deck. All right, they wisely just go straight to combat. They still get to loot with the ring, even though it's on mode number 4. I gotcha. And we know we're gonna be taking 3 at least from this ring. So yeah, I think we got to go for the throat now. Can't wait to see what else they do. Pick up another go for the throat. Sure, might as well do 2. All right, and the follow-up after that, another golem. And they're going to sacrifice golem to itself. I guess, is that to get a tempting on the ring? But they're already full on that track. All right, so golem replayed. Wonder if the white's in here mostly for reanimation. Sure, opponent with a Forsaken Crossroads, probably going to scry. And puts 1 on the bottom, so looking for something not in their hand. Let's go ahead and draw. We're already taking damage, we might as well draw 4 cards for it. Alright, we drew a Play with Fire, so if we invoke Despair, we can copy it with Display and have a Play with Fire up for next turn. Let's try that. Great. So Invoke Despair triggers it. Brotherhood's End. Sure, let's do damage. We'll decline the go for the throat. Let's Display of Power on Invoke Despair. I mean, yeah, might as well. Free copies of everything. And that way we can make this second end go off before the second Despair, so that we still get the maximum effectiveness out of each one. Otherwise, they'd be able to sacrifice Golem, and we'd miss out on 2 damage. All right, so we brought our opponent to 4. We're going to discard 4 cards here. If the opponent does nothing, the ring doesn't kill us next turn. So that means we've got 2 activations of Bombardment to find enough burn to finish this game. All right, opponent's got a Nazgul. That is not hasty, so that's fine. It is bearing the ring. All right, let's go Play with Fire at the opponent. We know that'll bring him to 2. Oh, we pick up Invoke Despair, and Brotherhood's End is already under there, so I think we can use that to wipe the board, but I'm not really sure we need to. Well, I do so many things wrong. Let's at least stack this right. We're going to go Brotherhood's End, and that should wrap it up. Wow, close one. Good game.